अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्
कल्याणं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. So, in the last session, there were two questions that were raised. The first one was about Advaita, so we'll go a little more deeper into the Advaita. And the second question was that Meena has actually sent me the question in a WhatsApp message, that she was asking the question that I said something like the most important thing is the hunger will go away. If you feed someone, the hunger will go away in about 3-4 hours. But if you give the knowledge of the self, that is lasts forever. That can lead to getting out of the entire material life, that all the Tāvatrayas will be removed. So the Meena is asking a question, but hungry person cannot understand. That's what his question. But hungry person cannot understand about spirituality. God still his physical hunger is satisfied, right? That's the question. Would you explain? Yes. So we need that explanation to that. So first of all, I'm glad that Meena asked a question about both the questions, Advaita. I thought, what is Advaita? That means the listening is there, proper listening. That's the first sign of learning spirituality. Proper listening. If you listen from one ear to other ear, and it goes away and you keep listening again and again. What's the use of that? When we listen, that's only we contemplate and then we try to understand. Especially this science of our understanding is agocharam. We said gocharam, it's not gocharam. It's not perceivable by the mind or perceivable by the indriyas. So since it is agocharam, careful attention and contemplation is required. So that is, I appreciate the close attention to that. But when Meena raised a question, that is correct. First responsibility is because when a hunger, a person, Swami Vivekananda says, is religion is not for empty bellies. That's what he said, as his own words. When a person's stomach is burning with the fire of hunger, the entire universe shrinks into the size of the meal. So that's what his concentration is about, getting a meal. And the physical pain from this is so loud. And he won't hear anything that anybody says. Attention is on the food. So that is why in our tradition, you can see everywhere in the temples we go, Annadhanam. It's not only our tradition. If you look at Muslims' tradition, if you look at it, they have Ramadan. They stay hungry for all day and eat only fruits in the evening and give out all the food to the others. All in Sikhism, in Buddhism, everywhere, the feeding hungry is the first thing because it is an instrument for us. It's an instrument for us for our journey towards God. That's ultimately, that is what it is. Purushartham is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Moksha is the ultimate goal. So in that sense, it is correct. But also one should understand that eating, meeting, and mating and defending, everybody does that. But there what happens is you don't progress into something. Matter of fact, I have written a book about this, and some of you are reviewing it for me. So it says the soul, the travel of the soul. How does the soul travel? Describes the ascending and descending. We have an opportunity to ascend and we have an opportunity to descend also. But human being has it. Animals do not have it. So after fulfilling the hunger, one should start giving the knowledge of the self. That is only what I intend to mention. But just feeding the hunger is fine. But that is not going to help ultimately the seeker. Ultimately the seeker, Bhagavan says in Bhava Gita, that tesham evanagam bharatam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma pavastaha jnana divena bhasvata. So Bhagavan wants to give you knowledge. That's what he wants to give you. He wants to give you the knowledge so we can get out of the sufferings. Now hunger is certainly a suffering, but we can get out of the completely suffering. That's what we should aim. But without satisfying our hunger, it doesn't happen. That is absolutely correct. Vinay, that is clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that was not much difficult to answer. So we experience, that's our experience, right? Our experience, so that's not difficult. The second question is about explaining Advaita. So when we say Advaita, we will have to understand there are so many others also. We have to understand at least some part of that. Under that, we have, so there is called Vivartavada. That is, Advaita is also called Vivartavada. So we'll try to understand a little bit what that is. Then Parinamavada, that is another school of thought. And then Aṣṭāvakra Gītā Vada. And there's three different thoughts. The first, let's go to Advaita, Vivartaka Vada.
What is the Advaita? What is the
Vivarta?
what word?
Advaita
Vivarta.
Vada is called Vivarta Vada also. If you Google
Vivarta. Okay.
Vivarta Vada also. Then there is Parinama Vada. Then Aṣṭāvakra Vada. Aṣṭāvakra Vada. Aṣṭāvakra.
Asat. Not Satyakari. Asatyakari. Okay.
Aṣṭāvakra Vada. Aṣṭāvakra Vada. Not Satkari Vada. Aṣṭāvakra Vada.
Asat. Okay.
So what is Vivarta Vada? Vivarta Vada is tells us the world that many as we have discussed off the line earlier, where the world is only an appearance, not the truth, not really a truth. And the way they explain it, if Brahman is truly infinite and unchanging, it cannot have a split. So it cannot change to something else. If Brahman is there, Brahmans, the others will find out something comes out of that. This world comes out of that. Different way. But Advaita is explained it in such a way, if Brahman is truly infinite, that all three, the different sects, the different thoughts, school of thoughts also agrees Brahman is infinite. If it is infinite and unchanging, then how can something split out of that? Something comes out of that. That is the school of thought in Advaita. And there's two terminologies that we should understand to make it more clear. One is called material cause, and the other one is called efficient cause. Now, how do you understand material cause and efficient cause? The material cause you can understand like a brick. If you're building a home, the brick is a material cause. The efficient cause is going to be the one who to build, the builder, the one who built the house. That is the efficient cause. In Advaita, the material cause and the efficient cause is only one. There is not two. So Brahman is more efficient cause, but it only appears due to Maya or illusion. So think about a movie playing on a screen. The movie you can see full of actions, explosions, people die, people get born, so many things, right? But it's all happening in the screen only. So if you turn the lights off, the light shining towards the screen, everything is gone. So it's an appearance in Brahman only. Another way we can understand that waves and the sea, if you look at look at the ornaments and the gold, there's so many different ornaments. And ornaments, a ring can be made into a necklace. Necklace will change into something else. But what is the truth in all that? Only one truth. That is a gold. Gold is only the truth. Or water is only truth in all the sea. Now another way to understand is, say they always refer to space, part space, and the world, the space. So Mahakasha and Kathakasha. They use that or not, that to explain. Is there Kathakasha? Yes, as long as Katha is there, as long as there's a part, we feel, or the Katha feel that it is my space. So if you deeply think, you will understand there is no Kathakasha separately from Mahakasha. It's only Mahakasha. It is suppose an appearance of Kathakasha due to Katha, due to the part. That's all. So you will understand this is the Advaita thought. Now, in Parinamavada, it is different. It is called Vishishta Advaita. The Ramanujacharya says, no, that is not correct. He says the individual soul as a part and partial of the Brahad, the Brahman only. It has the same qualities, but it is different. It came out of that. It's produced from that, but it is separate. But it is still within. It is produced from Brahman only. Where the Advaita says, no, there is nothing can be produced from there. When it's produced, the Brahman is not going to be Purnam anymore. How can it be something Purnam? Something else can come out of that. They do not agree with that. So Madhvacharya has a thought that no, it is true, Brahman is infinite, but the creation happened from that only. There is a real creation happened, and it is true. This world is, Jagat is true, it is not a Maya. It doesn't agree that it's a Maya. So that is what Ramanujacharya says. Then another thought is Madhvacharya. This is called a Parinamavada. Then the Asatkaryavada. Madhvacharya says he looked at both because their times are different. Shankaracharya they did not come up with Advaita. We should not misunderstand that. Shankaracharya did not brought us the Advaita. Advaita thought was given to us by Vyasa only. In Brahma Sutra, in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, in Upanishads, he is the only one given to us. Shankaracharya points out to us that word as a saying. And Shankaracharya also points out to us, you don't have to trust this. This is not something you have to trust. There is Dvaita, there is Advaita, the bird material comes out of this. No, it doesn't have to be. The appearance of the world appears. When you go to sleep, everything goes from you. When you wake up, everything appears to you. So it's all about appearance in your mind only. But in Dvaita, that's totally different. Dvaita in Madhvacharya doesn't agree both of them. He looks at both of them and says, both of these thoughts are incorrect. He says, Bhagavan, Lord Vishnu, is the efficient cause, where Brahma is the material cause. He is a builder. Lord Vishnu is a builder. And Vishnu creates this matter called Prakriti. And from the Prakriti, all the Prakriti where he had 24 tattvas. All the 24 tattvas, Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, Antakarana, and so forth. And then he created all this material world. So that is Dvaita. So these three schools of thoughts are there. And we should understand all three of them. And then we should determine, based on our understanding, what our understanding fits. But we should not worry too much about this, because even though we're studying a little bit advanced lessons from say Aṣṭāvakra, but if you look at the path of purification to understand, it's the same. No difference. Where we are. Understanding is not different. That means, first of all, so if you look at the difference between a little more closer, it's also Advaita. Ultimately, there's no world or real. There's no reality in the world. And everything is get burned, everything becomes nothing. It's only an appearance, an illusion. They will also explain it like this here, in a snake and a rope. Was there a snake? Yes, there was a snake. But it was an appearance in the mind. Was it truly when the knowledge kicks in, when in a bright light, is there a snake? No, there is no snake. But you cannot deny the fact that there was a snake. Until the light came, until the knowledge came, true knowledge came, the snake was there. This is how Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta is well explained. And then Vishishta Advaita says, no, the world is real. And how did it happen? It came out of Brahman. How? They give you an example of spider. You can see a spider that creates a net, but it doesn't ask any material. So material cost and the efficient cost, both of them, it comes out of that spider. Spider creates a net from his own body and then withdraws. So that is Vishishta Advaita. Now, Dvaita is a little different. That is like a Sankhya Yoga. In Sankhya Yoga, it's the same thing. This Prakriti is real. And similarly, here, it is entirely, this world is entirely real. And there's a potter. In a pot, there's a potter, that is Vishnu. Vishnu creates this world. So these are different thoughts. So the core teaching here in Aṣṭāvakra Gītā is that pure awareness. You're not the body. You're not the mind. And you're not the emotions, nor the ego. Those are temporary phenomena. Appearance in your mind only. So, the thought of Aṣṭāvakra Gītā is, there is not actually a liberation to talk about. Because you're already liberated. You're not bound to anything. But you think, as long as you think you're bound, then you have all the sufferings happens. So there, detachment to the freedom is simply a vairagyam only. Vairagyam means you're not attached to your body, your senses. That whenever that attachment goes, you stay in your original position. That is the liberation. In Dvaita, it's not like that. Dvaita, you actually go. After you get a purification, after you do the prayer, you do many sadhanas, you become pure in your mind. Yeah, your antakarana shuddhi happens. There's a process. Then you go to Vaikuntha, where Vishnu resides. Where Vaikuntha, you will serve Bhagavan and as a dasa. So you will serve him, and you'll be happy. And each individual being is different there. While each different individual beings are different, there is no enmity. Because you're fully happy, satisfied with your own by serving Bhagavan. That is Dvaita. In Vishishta Advaita, the moksha is actually knowing. When it comes to liberation, Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita do not have a difference. They are same. That when you realize a God, that is the moksha. So here's the difference. So we'll discuss it again because we have to continuously contemplate on it, and then we'll understand the difference. So that is why you will see the difference in worship practices and so forth. Some of the practices in Hinduism, it's all because of the ignorance only. Ignorance only. People go to the temple and stand hours in line because they want to get something. They want to ask God. Then they don't ask God directly. There is a Pandit there. So you go, Pandit gives some money. Pandit goes inside and tell God. And then, hey, this person give me some money. So please give him the blessing. So those are, you have to understand, those are not scriptural knowledge, or not scripture. Those are trust. If you trust whatever you want to trust, once you trust it, so trust it. So those are not scriptural. There is no scripture to support those kind of thoughts. But these three different thoughts are there: Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, and Dvaita. Now, is that it? No. There are so many divisions of all that. In Vishishta Advaita, in Dvaita, there are so many sampradayas are there. And you cannot say in Advaita there are so many, and or Vishishta Advaita there is not many. But in Dvaita there are so many different practices are there, so many different. ISKCON has one thought, and Vaishnavas have another thought, Shaivas has it all comes under the Dvaita. So that's where that stands. Now keep thinking about this, and if you try to understand, try to contemplate, and then if you have questions further, please ask. So at least preliminary. So did we understand it, or can we go further?
So Advaita, the path to liberation is knowledge. What about in Vishisht, the other two? The same thing? Or?
No, knowledge, their knowledge and the seva. Knowledge and the seva both comes in. And the seva, there, the prayer or blessing of God is very, very important. Here, blessing of God is for us to get the knowledge. Once you get the knowledge, but their blessing of the God is what takes you. Blessing of the gods is what actually takes you to moksha. So there,
Bhakti, basically
all
bhakti.
the sadhanas, all the rituals, all that comes there. Not mere knowledge is not going to do. And there, the blessing of Bhagavan and is also required. That is the difference. Here in Advaita, only knowledge, nothing else can help us. Only knowledge can help. Only knowledge can help us. Now, to get to that, yes, we had a purification of the mind, and that's what we do the pujas in the morning. It's our getting our concentration. Our mind has to be. That's why we do the meditation in the morning. What happens? We had to keep everything away and be ourselves. Ourselves means be ourselves as a Atma. So we practice that. We practice is that, and then the difference, and I personal experience, the difference is in Advaita, it is not a question of trust. I trust it. There is no trust here. There's actually an experience that other than the trust. That's the beauty of Advaita. That's why Shankaracharya always says this here, and he takes us into contemplation. And once you contemplate, and then you reach your point, then he says, and look now, see what Shruti says. Shruti says the same thing that you came to a conclusion right now. That's what it says here. So that's the beauty of that. Anil, is that clear? Meena?
Yes, thank
Yeah, if you're not able to say it, that's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
but
I'm trying to understand. It's difficult, but I will listen to the YouTube again when you
we'll
post it.
try. Now what happens is we concentrate on Advaita. In between, we can go back. Hey, what about the Vishishtadvaita? What would Vishishtadvaita says in this situation? What would Dvaita says in this situation? Some areas Dvaita has no place at all because it's about going a place. In Advaita, it's going to a place called Vaikuntha. Now, so after death, the soul goes to Vaikuntha. In Advaita, the soul is the soul is Brahman. So Brahman goes where? Brahman is everywhere. Brahman occupies the entire universe, or there's nothing but Brahman anywhere. An entire universe and outside the universe. That's why we have this mantra called Om Purna Madaha. Purna means it's Purnam with this filled everywhere. It's nothing less. You cannot say there's second Purnam. There's only one. When you say 1.1 Purnam, no. It's only one Purnam is Purnam only. It's an infinite. Like the number infinite, you can't say, well, two infinite. And there's not such two infinite. Infinite is infinite. The infinite plus infinite is not two infinite. Infinite times infinite is not infinite square. So like that. Because it is ultimately everything. Biggest. So shall we go to the third sloka? Yeah, we can at least recite, and then we can contemplate on that again.
Oh.
Ready? Na prithvi, na jalam, na agner, na vayur daur, na va bhavan. Esham sakshinam chidrupam vidhi muktaye.
Na prithvi, na jalam, na agni, na vayu, brahma bhava. Esam sakshinam chitrupam vidhi muktaye.
Na prithvi, na jalam, na agner, na vayur dvair, na va bhavan. Esha sakshinam chidrupam vidhi muktaye.
Na prithvi, na jalam, na agni, na vayu, na
Bhavan
Esha
Sakshinatmanam Chidrupam
Vidhi Muktaye.
Yeah, but let's look at the words. The words are simple. There's not a whole lot of sandhi there. Na prithvi, na jalam, na agner. There's a sandhi there. Nāknir comes from na aknir, nāknir. Na aknir, vayu, vayur na, vayur dyavurna, vayuhu, dyuhu, dyauhu, vayuhu, dyauhu, dyauhu na, vayuhu, dyauhu na, bhavan. Esha Sākṣinam Atmanam. Sākṣinam Atmanam Chitrupam Vidhi Muktaye. So those are the words. So na, we know what na always is like in English, no. But actually there's a Sanskrit word also. So no. No is also a Sanskrit word for no. No in English. Prithvi, we know, in all Madhurabhasha, Prithvi is there. Earth. Na Prithvi, na Jalam is a common Madhurabhasha. Jalam. Na Agnihi, very easy, the fire. Na Vayuhu. There we had to pay a little attention. In Sanskrit, Vayu, in Hindi or Vayu, in Malayalam and other Madhurabhasha, Vayu. Here, Vayu, Sanskrit is Vayuhu. That is how we say Vayur Dyaur. Vayur Dyaur. Dyaur is space. There are also Dyauhu. Vayuhu Dyauhu na. Bhavan, hey Bhavan, and you are not Prithvi, you are not Jalam, you are not Agni, you are not Vayu, you are not the space. So he's covering all Panchabhuta. Out of that, Prithvi is the grossest. And then grow from the gross to the subtle. Prithvi, then the Jalam is subtler than Prithvi. Agnihi, subtler than water. Then Vayu, subtler than water. Then Dyauhu, subtler than air. Then who is Bhavan? Esha Sākṣinam. Of these five, Esha Sākṣinam. Sākṣī. Sākṣī, we know what Sākṣī is. You are the Sākṣī. You are the witness. Sākṣinam Atmanam. Atmanam Sākṣinam. That means Atmanam means Swayam. It's your Sākṣinam. Chidrupam. Chidrupam is a pure consciousness. These are your self or pure consciousness. Hey, Vidhi. Vidhi means know that this is Muktaye, for the sake of freedom. So what he says here, you have asked a question, Moktam Ichchasi. Hey Tata, I want to if you want mukti, then you should understand that this, you are neither earth, nor water, nor fire, nor air, nor space. But what are you? You're a self-witness. You're witnessing everything. Witness of all this as the embodiment of self, consciousness. Understood? Is there any question? Any question why he picked up these five? Because those are the gross elements, right?
Those are the elements.
Those are the material elements. Even Vedanta also, Shankaracharya, he explains in Vivekachudamani, when he explains the Panchīkarana, he explains how, it says within the Maya only, but how the Panchīkarana happens. There he explains how Prithvi, Jalam, Vayu, Akasham, Agni, Vayu, Akasham, all that happens. So he's addressing all that. So if you analyze your body, your gross body, this is what you get. He says you are none of them. That's why in our meditation we try to separate our body and the mind from us. Here it's about body. Because we always think I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so, by identifying the body. And then it is very clear, no, you're not thinking. If you desire mukti, first in the second sloka he says, piyushavattaja, vishayan piyushavattaja. Yeah, if you muktam ichasi chetata, vishayan piyushavattaja. So you give up like it is a bishop. Then here he says, no, that is good, but after that you have to realize it that you have to make a commitment to yourself. You have to understand these are not you. This body is made of Panchabhuta. That Panchabhuta is not you. That's what he's explaining. Clear? Anil?
Yeah.
Meena, since you are unmuted today, I mean the children is not bothering, I guess, today. That part is clear? Maybe she is muted. I don't know. It's the thing. Okay. But anyhow, so we can conclude today. And today we have discussed the two questions, profound questions, very good questions. What is the importance of taking care of the hungry person and giving the knowledge? How do we differentiate? I happen to say that hungry, taking care of the hungry, hunger is only a temporary solution for Tapatraya. But is it required? Yes. Without that, one cannot move forward. But if we're also need to understand that niryajna does not mean taking care of the human beings and giving them food and other material help. It also means their permanent help. It's only giving the right knowledge to them. That is niryajna. That's what I wanted to point out. Then the second question, a very profound question, explain Advaita. So as we go further in Aṣṭāvakra Gītā, we will clearly understand what Advaita is. But what is going to be left is Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita. So school of thoughts are different. And we should not think that this is only three. Out of that, there's so many subdivisions are there. Because it's all different Mahatmas, they come to their darshana. And some of them are depending on the time and circumstances only. Time and circumstances. Who is he teaching? Who is teaching to? That depends on that. That would also change. So we have to understand. We have to, what we should do, we should move above that. We should try to understand all that. And then, but our mind should be fixed in one thing. That is for yourself. What is for self? That is Advaita. That's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. That's what Upanishad teaches. Advaita. There's no two. Is there anything wrong with understanding the others? No. It's good to understand, matter of fact. That way we can understand the science behind it. Then we can have dispassion based on that. So, am I clear? Can we conclude?
No,
Yeah.
just one. Yes, we can conclude.
Yeah, no, go ahead and ask a question. Go ahead and ask a question.
Just one comment. When the person is hungry, and you cannot teach them, you cannot give them the knowledge, because the first thing he needs is the food.
And that's what Mina's point was, definitely.
So
Absolutely
you
correct.
cannot, he's not going to be one to listen to the knowledge. He's going to say, get out of here.
Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah,
Mini,
yeah,
that is very, 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 very good point. That may be what the difference is from the childhood that I lived in that time. The food was very even. We were an average family back home, but we had enough food. We're not hungry, but there was just enough. Now, a guest comes here, and we definitely give them the food, but that means we have less. And that was okay. That's not a big sacrifice or anything like that. At that time, there was not a big, so guest comes are hungry, we'll feed them first. But that was not a big sacrifice at the time. But today, fortunately, the world has plenty, plenty of food. And is there hungry people still? There's hungry people, not because there is not enough food, because of the misuse of those foods. You can see that. So here's so much opportunity today, especially those of us who had enough to feed ourselves, and then that is very important. We do a Nariyajna. We see where the opportunities are there to feed someone. But all the temples have Āradhana. But temple, who comes eat to temples? Those who have plenty of food already go to a temple, nearby temple. They're not hungry people who doesn't have food in the house, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll have to see how do we pay. Paying a donation to the temple is not going to be a niryajna, because you're feeding the people who already have plenty. Right? That's not going to help us. Well, for them, what you need, they have enough to eat. Now, for them, the knowledge is required. The others, yes, help them with the food. There are different stages of life, and different, maybe if not this birth, maybe next birth, they will be able to feed themselves or be able to contemplate on God. That's why different stages of life. It's a very good point. Anything else, Vinny?
No, thank you.
Anil? Good?